Thanks for joining us, Lori. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
How are things? We're good.
Good.
Yeah. So we've been trying to get Juggalo Origin Story popping back off for a long time. Lori hit us up months ago, I think. Like, hey, I'll be on there, and we just kept not doing Juggalo Origin Stories. So I was like, you're next on the list. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, it's about time.
I'm here.
Why did we stop? I don't.
We just got lazy. Oh, I got lazy because I'm the one that sets that up.
Yeah.
So Lori, you are. Do you prefer Juggalo or Juggalette? What do you think?
It doesn't matter. Probably Juggalo. I've been in it for so long that it's kind of weird to say either way. Like to the outside world, I'm a Juggalo, I guess. So yeah, Juggalo's fine.
We like that. So how long have you been down? I mean, if you're comfortable talking about your age and everything, I don't know, but let's hear, like, what got you into it? What started you down the path?
So sorry, my earplugs keep going off. I've been down since I think 1995, since the Riddle Box came out.
Okay.
So I am terrified of clowns for real. And my high school boyfriend was like, he made me like watch every single clown thing possible. Like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, everything that was available. He like made me watch.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he's like, he came home from like his high school once and he was like, oh, my friend from high school has this tape of these grown men that dress like clowns and rap. And I was like, I'm not listening to them. And then he like, every time we were together, he put on his car and it was on constantly. And so I like, until the point, like I had it memorized and I was like, oh, they're pretty funny. They're not too bad. And I was like, maybe I'll listen to it. Like I can't listen to it at night. I can't listen to it by myself, but I'll listen to it. And then it just kept going and going and going. And here I am today. 27 years later.
Nice. Well, first of all, I in the middle of you talking, for some reason the volume went down. I don't know why. I tried to turn you back up. Oh, it sounds like you fixed it. Maybe.
Yeah, my AirPods keep like going out. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. There you go. You sounding good now.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's a pretty standard Juggalo origin. Like you got introduced. The being afraid of clowns thing is an interesting tidbit. But you were almost kind of like force fed clown media until you just got over your fear.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm over my fear. I'm terrified of clowns, but I still listen to ICP. Like I won't watch like any clown stuff, or I don't like clown things and haunted houses or anything like that. But ICP, they're my boys.
It's interesting. We have a friend like that too, actually.
Yeah, we do.
Our friend Paula. So it's kind of funny how that works. Like for some reason, ICP are just like they cut right through that fear. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Yeah, they're like that connection, that bridge to actually get over it, or at least be able to handle it.
Yeah. So
yes.
So what? So you said it was around 95. That's a long time. So how old were you around that time?
15.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, you're of a similar age to us then in that regard. Where are you from? So to be down during since Riddlebox, that's a pretty interesting time because that was before they really popped off like nationwide. So I'm always curious.
Yeah, I say it's 95. I mean, it could have been later, but I think it was 19 because I didn't have my license yet. So I was kind of like at his mercy of like listening to it in his car. So it was either like real early 96 or 95. I'm from Massachusetts. But I I remember getting every single like possible tape, I guess at the time that I could. That led up to it. So yeah, it was, you know what I mean? I'm sure maybe he doesn't have it stored. We're still like friends now, but I got every single thing that I could. And then I very clearly remember I was the only person that listened to ICP in my high school. I think I was a junior. There was a couple of people, he was a senior, and there's a couple of our friends, eventually went to shows with us, but I very specifically remember like kind of being the center of attention when the whole like Disney thing went down with like Hollywood Records or whatever. Wow. And like all the preppy people all of a sudden like took an interest in, we were singing with like Great Milenko and things like that. And I was like already territorial of them a couple of years later. So
that's interesting. Like, I had a similar feeling like when Juggalos Brothers came out, cause I wasn't there for the release of Milenko, but it's interesting. It's an interesting parallel, how it's the cycle just repeated, Yeah.
Cause I think that era kind of went through Juggalos Brothers, where you still had like the preppy people and all that.
Yes, I probably have there's video of me and my like friends that weren't into it but listened to it, like probably drunkenly singing to of course the game show one, whatever it is, the dating game. And I know there's videos somewhere.
Oh yeah, of course. Do you so let's see, you're similar in age, do you have kids?
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Okay. And what's her take on ICP? I have a 15-year-old daughter, so I'm curious.
She loves it. I was just thinking about this the other day because it's Juggalo Day, and of course I get all in my feelings about it. But I was like, I couldn't imagine, like, when I had her, like, in my wildest dreams, I couldn't imagine like what our connection would be. I always figured like maybe she would rebel against me by listening to country or something. And she likes a little Japanimation music and things, but she loves ICP, and it's so cool. To kind of share, like, she's never been to an ICP show. She's been to a couple of Twisted shows, one Twisted show. And, just to kind of, like, the other day we were singing along to Bang Pow Boom. And I was like, holy crap, this is so weird. And like, it's really cool to like share that with her. And maybe eventually I'll take her to a show, but it's usually my time to let loose.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And she's like, she'll be like, oh, like I'm friends with some, people. And she's like, oh, so I'm like, 2 people removed from Shaggy 2 Dope. And I was like, sure. Like, yeah. Like, so you do whatever you need for like clout or whatever, but no, she likes it.
What's her album? What album does she gravitate towards, if any?
Well, it's funny because like she's been like, I was at a Hallowicked with her and I was pregnant. So I always like say like you've been down since in utero, but she likes Fearless Fred Fury. That's like her favorite. So I always call her like Juffalo. So I'm always like you're Fearless Fred Fury by a teaser, but that's funny, that she loves that. Yeah. She loves Fearless Fred Fury.
That's awesome. That's really cool. My 15-year-old doesn't give a shit about ICP. So I'm jealous in that regard. I coming up as when I was 15, 16, being a juggalo, I always would daydream about like, man, when I have kids, they're all gonna be juggalos. All of them, I'll be taking them to gathering, and like not a single one of them. I have 3, and not a single one of them expressed interest.
That's funny. Not a chance would she ever go to a gathering. But I'm like, all right, maybe some of like the more I don't know if there's any laid back shows. Like I was really close to taking her to Juggalo Day this time. The flights were just a little too expensive, but I was like, maybe next year or something.
Yeah. So you've been down for a long time. How have you gone to the gathering? How many times have you gone? Like, I want to know these kind of.
Yes, I went 2003, 4, and 5, and then 2016 for the Wizard of the Hood gathering. So most of my friends, like, I was down for so long before then. And I think I was at work one day and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. Like this outdoor gathering. I remember like looking it up and then going on the message board. So like all of my friends are from, message boards, and it keeps growing that way. So
that's cool. I love it. Yeah. What kind of Juggalo message boards were you on?
Juggalo Central and the Gathering of the Juggalo message board.
Okay,
we're such nerds. It's awesome.
No, it's okay. The main reason I'm asking this is I have friends that I talk to like daily, like to this day, that I met from Juggalo message boards, and
yes,
I was big on the sixth.com's message board. It was called B6. Me and my friends though, like, I mean, I met a core group of like 5 or 6 friends, and we just kept interacting, and it's some of my best friends to this day. I'm going to one of their weddings in New York this summer. It's awesome. There's no hate for me on that regard.
Yes, I know. Some of them, like, they're not even like in this life, but they're still some of my best friends. I've like, we've seen each other through some of the toughest times in our lives, and you know what I mean? I know if I go to certain states, I can stay with them, and kind of vice versa. And they're just like amazing, amazing people. So
that's really cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
So you went to I'm biased, but those are by far the best gatherings. 03, 04, 05.
Yeah, we were at all 3 of those, and man, I loved them.
Those are our favorites. We've only been to a couple outside of that, but those ones are.
We don't really have many others to compare throughout the following decade, but 3, 4, and 5. I think we went to 6, and then 6. The 06, I was like, oh man, this isn't great, and I kind of stopped going after that. But 3, 4, and 5 were great.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah, that's
very
awesome.
Magical. Something about like decorating, like you had your own campsite, and like you could take pride in it, and like decorate it and have theme nights. Like we'd have like a barbecue and nacho night and things like that. It was really, we were like right on the corner of Loons District, and it was so much fun.
I was just about to ask what district you were in.
Yeah. We were Chaos and then Loons 2 years in a row.
Nice. Yeah. We were Chaos 1 year, and then we had I think we were in the Dark Forest for the other two, maybe.
Plus that property is just great. And they've expanded that campground, because I've been there in the recent years for other types of festivals. And they've expanded that campground. It's huge. It's way bigger than it was. So they could definitely hold the gathering there again.
Yeah, and that's where 2020 was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know? We were so excited. We were on fucking board.
Yes, I'm ready for that.
Then they had to go and make it 20 minutes down the street, and then I still didn't fucking go.
It's literally like last year. Yeah, it's 20 minutes away from where we're at. Like, if they have it there this year,
we're going.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go.
That's awesome. So that's really cool. Like, even as a mom, like you're making time for yourself to go out and go to gatherings, and planning to go to Juggalo days and stuff. That's pretty cool. I know, speaking personally, like once I started having kids, that kind of put the kibosh on a lot of my traveling for Juggalo shit. 05, 06 was when 05 was the last one I went to. Then 06 I had my child. So that kind of explains it a little. Oh yeah, we did go to 06.
Yeah, we went to
my
06.
wife was pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, but yeah, so I kind of stopped going after that. So I do, I think it's cool when Juggalos still like, they're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still making it happen. Yeah. I like that.
I mean, bigger things like, they're obviously like, if I have a choice between like being home with my daughter for a few days, like especially when she was younger, of course she's going to like take top priority. But I've only missed 2 shows one for Ice Cube and one for Twisted up here anytime they play. And I remember like exactly both the reasons. Like one was a funeral and one I was in college, so I couldn't miss that particular class because it was like on the heels of, I think, one of the gatherings. But here, like the one night you can get a babysitter, like they know that your kids like know that you have a life and you can have fun, and like you don't have to not exist because you're a parent.
That's awesome. So let me think. What? I was gonna ask. What do you do for a living? Just out of curiosity.
I'm a therapist, a mental health therapist.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I
good.
work 3 jobs. So I run, I guess my full-time job is I run like groups for convicted felons. And then I started my own private practice for people with, regular people with mental health issues. And then per diem, I do like crisis evals. And right now it's all from home. So I can just kind of like do all 3 jobs all week long. And
that's really cool.
Work my ass off. Yeah.
So I have a question. Have you ever thought about like, Jay or Shaggy's mentality? Probably more so Jay, because he puts it out there a little bit more, and ever kind of like evaluated like kind of what
just armchair psychologist wise. What do you think?
Because I know I've sat around. I know on this show I've sat around and talked about Jay's mental health.
We speculate on his mental health constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I speculate too, so it's hard because I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, a little bit about what's going on, but you don't always know the full story. And I think he probably hits the nail. I think he probably has a lot more self-awareness. And I think with the, what do you call it? Those live streams, I think we've gotten definitely more insight other than speculation. So yeah, it's interesting. I think, like you said, like he's, used to living a young lifestyle, and it's hard to probably. Yeah,
it's hard. It's probably hard
attacks and things like that.
It's probably hard to come down from that, that adrenaline rush you get from living that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's kind of the same thing wrestlers go through. They, after they're done with their career, they really can't get over it. They can't go back to normal life.
Yeah,
and I would imagine that's essentially something that Jay's going through as well. Not to mention, the bumps he's taking from wrestling. He's probably got spine issues and things and nervous system issues as well, which adds to the panic attacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
I always worry too. I'm like stupid, and I'm always like, "What is your retirement?" Because I'm old, so I'm like, "What does your retirement plan look like?" There's a face tattoos. Like, I hope that they like have a good solid like foundation. I panic. I worry. I don't ever want them to like leave or retire, or God forbid, like I hope I go before them, but. Yeah, I'm always like, I hope they're good for the future.
Yeah, no. Like, I mean, they gotta. We have to speculate that they still got like a few bucks in the bank, like that they'll be okay, right? I mean, because Jay fucks around. He's like, we're not as rich as y'all think we are, or whatever. You know, he says shit like that. Which sure, maybe he's not multi-millionaires like maybe he was at one time, but he's got to have $1 million in the bank, right?
All they gotta do is drop like a line of shirts.
Right.
That's like the classic stuff. They'll make. I mean, I don't buy their merch, but if they drop, a black shirt with a old school Joker's card on it, I'll buy it. You know, I mean, and that's just all they gotta do is pull out their secret weapons, and they'll make some quick cash real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I remember.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember one of my friends, her husband is best friends with Jump Steady. So not to like name drop, he was in their wedding. So
nice.
Me and her worked the merch booth when they did Rock and Shock up here back in 2008. So it was like the recession. And I remember I forget who it was, they're like, oh, I made like 40 grand this weekend. I was like in the middle of a recession just for a weekend at Hallowicked. It was like bananas.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really cool though.
Not to speculate on their financial things, but it's just interesting. Like Juggalos are recession proof because they'll buy shit.
Yeah, really.
40 grand, huh? I mean, for damn.
I mean, dude, like every time they do those auctions and shit, they got Juggalos dropping like $800 to $1,000 on these jerseys and stuff. Like they got the means to line their pockets, and so I think they'll be okay in that regard. So I tend not to worry too much. They have enough of a legacy that I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Mentally, it's a different story, but who knows? I think they're both probably mentally doing better today than they were 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Especially,
I would say so. I hope they just have good people in their corner and a good support system that has their best interests in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. We've the few Juggalos we've talked to at this Juggalo origin story. It's always fascinating hearing like cool jobs they have, and like sounds like you're successful. I mean, are you putting it out there for if Juggalos need mental health, they can hit you up? Mental health.
I should find a way to do that. Like, they have to get paid. But no, I think I should do something. Like, yeah, that's actually probably a good idea to kind of parlay that into helping Juggalos. I know, they do like the scrub thing, whatever it is at gatherings.
Yeah. Like a scrub help or whatever. Like you should. I mean, however you do it. If you're starting your own private practice, just like Juggalos, hit me up. Go to my website and here's the price. Insurance covers it. Yada yada. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. You're helping Juggalos. Bam. And now you got you got more of an insight because you're also a Juggalo. See.
That's true.
It's okay.
I don't know, man.
I'll be connected with very few, but a few clients here and there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Either way,
I don't know, man. I think Juggalos, I think they're pretty good. I don't think they need any mental health.
Yeah,
mental help. Yeah. I think they're good. What you say?
All right, you're trolling.
I've thought about it myself recently. Trust me.
No, I mean,
it's always good to have somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to therapy for almost a year now. It's been awesome. Like I do it all over through Zoom or whatever website she has me going through. It's awesome. It's good shit. But my therapist is younger than me, so it's kind of interesting because like. I brought up ICP to her before, and she's like, "Oh, those guys still make music."
So then you're like, "Oh man, that's happened before. I used to listen to them in high school."
Yeah, I'm like, oh well. No, all right. Well, do you have? Is there any other like? Do you have like any? I will say the work in the merch booth is really cool, and
that's a cool story.
And being pretty close to Jump Steady in general, like that's kind of neat. Like having that kind of. What do you say? 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the fuck. But is there any other like cool Juggalo tales or stories that you had up your sleeve that you wanted to share or anything? Like, what's one of the cooler memories you might have? Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I know we didn't talk about that.
No, I was trying to think of. I mean, there's so many. I think a lot of. I mean, obviously, like in my 20s, we went on the bus a lot. Like, I don't know. I was like bold in my 20s. Nothing like, I wasn't like wasn't like groupie-ish or just hanging out.
Nothing
so
scandalous.
Cool with that. Yeah. Yes, nothing scandalous. Thank you.
So you're pretty comfortable saying that you've met them and you kind of you've had some conversations with them. Yeah.
Oh. They know me like. I kind of like force myself on them because I've been to like so many like VIPs and stuff. So it's fair to say that I think that they know me by sight now.
Oh, so, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Like when we did the virtual ones, they like, they're like, hey, I would, I don't think they're pretending that. Like, I think that they know me by sight.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like to be like active and comment on, things and like that. Like, just from like the board days, you just get used to being really active online and interacting with a lot of different people. So
do you get on there and like during like Shaggy and the Creep? Are you in the chat and like interacting or anything like that?
No, I haven't like really caught up with that because it's hard to do things live because I'm like, I work 3 jobs and being a parent and I go to, work out every day. Like, so it gets, kind of hard to catch up with that. So I'm not in that part of it. And plus those, they move so fast and I can't keep up.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
like I try to do the chats on like sometimes if I make the live streams live and I'm just like, I can't, I have to like hide it. It's too much.
Yeah. I always watch later. I'm just curious with how active you are. It wouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. It's very hard to,
Keep up with that shit. Yeah. If I were to watch it live, I would probably just turn the chat off. Like I don't have time to read this shit. I'm trying to listen to these motherfuckers. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's your album? What's the album that gets you going from ICP, Joker's Card wise?
Riddlebox. Yeah. Like there's so many other good ones, but like the second, like the music starts or whatever the intro is, like I'm back in my, like, boyfriend at the time's basement. Like I just feel like, from those like first notes, that's my album.
Nostalgic.
Yes.
Simpler
it's just, I remember exactly where I was. I feel 15 again. Like when I heard it.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely an ingredient that ICP has, is that they can take you back when you listen to their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one reason why I love them so much.
Yeah, they're amazing, and just growing up and, my dad's is an alcoholic and he was rotten to my mom and just kind of like, we were poor and like, there was like the preppy kids in school. So having people that like sung about that stuff and made it like a strength versus a weakness, it really helped. Like I didn't necessarily care if I belonged in any cliques. I have my best friends from grade school still. And like, I got through high school without like doing anything to fit into the preppy cliques or anything like that. And I really credit ICP for like getting me through some of the hard times in my life, getting me through, my master's, marriage, divorce, buying a house, like all of that stuff. They're there. So
they've helped us adult, right? I mean,
yes,
like I can say that ICP's actually helped me, do adult things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, guys. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It really does. It doesn't have to like be mutually exclusive. Like you can have times where you while out and then, buckle down. That's what the whole thing is. Like you don't have to be a jackass just to listen to it or not work. Or, they accept everybody for wherever they are in life, but you can definitely excel and like, go let loose at an ICP show. Like I can be buttoned down and help people with their problems. And then once I'm at a show, I'm elbowing through crowds and trying to get to the front. And
I love that.
I'm a whole different person. Yeah.
That's so cool. We won't hold you much longer. I do want to ask one other question. When you mentioned that you went to a few gatherings in the beginning, then it sounds like you took a long break. Was it just a distance thing, or was it more of a where you just had more shit going on in life and you weren't really like, we've talked about it many times. We've had ebbs and flows with our juggalo-ness, like right now it's up higher than it has been in the past, but we went through years where we just kind of like laid low on the whole juggalo thing and didn't really pay much attention, weren't buying shit, weren't going to shows, but it comes and goes. Was that how your experience was, or were you just always like, it was always there in the forefront?
It's always there in the forefront, I would say. Like, I'm not a big, like, merch-a-lo type of thing. Like, just buy some of the shirts that I like. And when their albums come out, I always buy it. But in terms of, like, longer like I said, I never missed a show here. And I've been up and down, like, to Baltimore. And I go to, like, all sorts of places. Detroit a bunch of times, to Hallowicked. It's tough because for so long, I think I had my tonsils out in 2006, 2007. I was pregnant, and then I had a newborn for a few years. So it just wasn't like going to a gathering wasn't a priority. Plus, I was so poor for so long. Like I just wasn't making a lot, and I was married, and he wasn't into it, so it just wasn't an option. Even though, like I would be like, see ya whenever they came here. So there's like a lot of reasons for that. Or like if I worked a job, like you have to drive 10 hours there and back, so you have to take a whole week off. It's just kind of prioritizing. And even now I hate driving, so I'm like, well, maybe at like Nelson Ledges I would go, but I'd much rather do like those weekend shows. I went to the West Virginia one, which was awesome.
Okay.
And yeah, just like that, like just taking like a longer weekend or even like a couple of days, going to a show with a theme, and then just like coming home. And there's other places I like to travel to too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like all these Juggalo weekends and like these random shows. They've like the Ultra Live 5 shows and stuff. Like I've never thought of them as being something that Juggalos really like travel to and like almost treat as like just for lack of a better word, like another little mini gathering. But I love that it like your explanation and the reason why like makes perfect sense. Like that's something that's way more in the cards for me. Like it would be easier for me to take a couple weekend days off and go to a weekend event like that than to spend all the time, money, and resources going to the gathering, getting a campsite and yada yada. It's like not saying you should do one or the other, but it's nice that like looking at it from that perspective, it's a cool little like way to just still be involved and get to participate. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm 42, so I need a shower and I need a bathroom that I don't share with other people. Like even I love my friends to death, but when they're like, "Oh, you can stay with us," I'm like, I need my own room. Like I just need to like read my book and like, take a nap and get ready at my own pace. And then I'll meet you guys like for drinks beforehand or lunch, but I just need my own space. I just, it's, yeah. So it's like kind of say I don't want to camp necessarily, even though it's fun. I need my 8 hours of sleep and my book and my HGTV, and then I can go while out and come back and go to bed.
We love it. That's so sweet.
Sounds about right.
All right. Yeah. Rodney Miller was in the chat, said you looked super familiar and asked if you ever go to shows in Detroit. So I think you answered
I
that.
do.
So
yeah, I don't know who Rodney Miller is, but I actually, I know people don't like Twisted, but I'm taking my daughter, I think, to Astronomicon coming up. So I'm excited about that. So she can dress up and, we can go to Twisted. And
that's cool.
My apology to not taking her to Juggalo Day.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a little easier to take a kid to anyway. So, I can't hate on that. Believe me, Astronomicon looks like it's a fucking blast. But I can't go and support Twisted.
I know people don't like them. They're still,
kidding.
They were there from the beginning, and they're still there for me.
I'm kidding. I was just bumping Twisted earlier.
Everybody. Yeah.
All right. Well, Lori, we appreciate you taking the time today to join us. You're very interesting, and we love chatting with y'all. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't get to talk about this all the time, so I appreciate it. So anytime I'm around Juggalos, I'm like, here we go. It's time to talk. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you go. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
All right.
Really interesting.
Good shit, man. Lori was awesome.
Yeah, it's not having a origin story in a while. Kind of forgot,
like how cool it is.
Yeah, forgot the feeling you get when you hear it.
I'm tired of talking to all these good Samaritan successful Juggalos. Juggalos, like where are the piece of shit Juggalos? Like, come on, you're the folks like Lori are ruining our reputation. Just kidding. We know y'all ain't out there.
Yeah, but
watching a podcast.
Juggalo therapists, so hit her up, guys, if you need some mental health help.
Tweet at her. Maybe she can give you shed some light. We're just like giving her service out. Tweet Lori. She'll help you out.